to address in the next 4 days, today, tomorrow, and next 2 days. So some of you may be very new to this course, so you may have some difficulties and challenges in understanding these terminologies or the topics. So however, we are always open to any kind of discussions in this session, or maybe even at later time. We will pass on our email IDs to you. If you have any difficulties, please do come and then talk to us on email, or you can always use our recorded sessions to go through it once again and understand. So in case while going through these topics, there may be some swap over from this subject to this topic to that topic, or maybe from here, because these are all integrated topics of security. So anyone who misses out the session may have some challenges. Please make sure that you attend all the sessions. So this is in summary the overall the topics we are going to cover. We have a good hands-on experience also. Please make sure that you will attend those sessions. So if I understand the audience here in this session, some of you are students, some of you are professionals, some of you are just taking these courses from some other background, and also have some passionate to learn these subjects. So if I understand this is what is the mix of the audience we have. So I have a very tough job at hand to make sure that all of you will take something very good from this course at the end of the day. So some of you have just are attending just to know what is there in cyber security. Some of you are really looking out to learn something on hands-on and then try to utilize this in your job. And some of you may have some challenges while working as professionals, so you also want to get extended learning from this course. So for all, we will definitely make sure that you will definitely have a good fruitful session with us, and you will also learn a lot of things from this 2 to 4 days of sessions. And if you see that you are really passionate about this subject, yes, in the last few years, security as a dominant area, which is also creating lot of job opportunities in various sectors, because most of our work has now been shifted to digital platform, and digital technologies are helping us to carry out our work, whether you are in IT or whether you are in non-IT, or you are even an educational professional. So more than 60 to 70% of our work, day-to-day work, society, life, we are dealing with technology, and we are using various devices to do our day-to-day operations. So we are depending on technology. In that perspective, lot of our devices we use, starting from mobile to our laptop to big systems, they are depending on technology, and these technologies are today have been challenged with security concerns and security issues. That is why from the job employment opportunity point of view also, the cyber security is actually a very important area, and also more and more platforms and avenues are coming up to provide the opportunities to people who are interested in security. So that way, many of you may be able to, even after this course, you may be able to take further interest and learn more of the cyber security and get into this area as a professional. So now coming back to this course itself. So can you just see this? Let me just try to now directly take you to some of the challenges we are facing, and without knowing or unknowingly. So here is a small case study. Now this many of you have already come across. So there is one email, it comes to you. All of us have email IDs, and we are every day accessing either through Gmail or through any other. So it will ask you that to create a space for some users who are deleting all inactive email accounts. Here what they have asked you to save your account. They will ask you that, can you please send your name and details? We are going to create some extra space for you. So we are going to give some extra deals for you. We are going to give some extra loan opportunities for you. So they are going to give some benefit or reward schemes, and they will ask you to reveal some of the personal data or reveal some of the important confidential data from your side. So how many of you have gone through? I'm sure more than 20-30% of the audience who are here would have come across such mails, either on WhatsApp or on Facebook or on Gmail. Now, what does that do with the security? Excuse me. So unknowingly or knowingly, what we may do is that we assume that, okay, we have got some lottery, we have got some reward, we have got some benefit. Why not we reveal our information? So they will directly transfer those money to our account. So we may reveal that, our information. What are those information? Your name, your email, your password, your date of birth, or any other extra details. Now, when it happens, these happens to you, what may happen is that you have already transferred some of your confidential data to other person on the other side, whom you do not even know. And that is when the challenges starts. People will start following you based on the data you have provided, details you have provided, and they start now, either they start sending some threatening messages to you, or they will steal away some information from you, or they will use that information to hack into your computer or your system and start demanding much more value or money from your side. So what should we do when we get such type of mails? We should be very careful. So such kind of email or any information which is asking from your side, from a third party who is a very stranger, you have to be very careful. Now that is where we start looking at how do we build such a secured system, such a secured environment, so we will not get into such type of challenges. Now this is happening at the individual level. Now you think of, you are working in an organization, you are working in a big institute, and such type of mails coming every day to many of the organization employees, or maybe many of the senior managers in the organization. So everybody is at risk. Organization is at risk and individuals are at risk. So we have to be very careful about how to deal such type of unsecured environment. So this is one type of incidents or scenarios we come across every day. Now there is also another similar to that. We one of the staff members, he subscribes to some free magazine. Now these freebies are coming nowadays, very common to many people. So we think that, oh, they are freely giving us this benefit, why not we take? Now we don't know what is the consequence of going into such type of free deals. So now what happens is that it will also activate her subscriptions, asked for 1 month of the birth date, second asking for her year of birth, then third asking for her name. So when they are asking for this free magazine deal or free lottery or whatever freebies, they will try to ask lot of your personal information. So in the excitement of getting that reward, we may reveal all this information. Again, this is a very dangerous scenario and very very challenging for many of us who do not have understanding of the security in the technology. So when such type of scenarios comes, you have to be again careful. Unless you have the awareness of how to deal with those situations, you will always be in trouble. And we have been hearing in the newspaper, magazines, and many places on the internet that many such big industries and big industrialists, and many employees and many household people have lost money by responding to such type of messages, such type of emails. So this course is mainly talking about giving all the information about what kind of those security challenges are there, what kind of those unknown strangers who come as an attackers, who come as a hackers, they will steal away your information, how you should deal as an individual and how you should deal as an organization or as a society. So why are we talking about this cyber security? You got some idea about that. So we will now go into little more detail. So today, if you see, even if you ask now because of COVID scenarios, first standard boy, he says that I'm attending classes on online. What does it mean? So we are heavily dependent on technology today, especially the internet, which is unknown to us, very abstract. In sitting at home, we are now able to talk to our relatives across the world, whether it is Australia or USA, even though we have not seen their faces. So we are either directly having communication using using various tools like email or many such communication protocols, or we are doing business and we are doing a lot of public utilities, control systems, information and entertainment. We are watching movies, we are listening to music, and many of these things we are doing using this technology and also on the internet. And when we are doing all that, we are also storing all our personal details, assuming that nobody has the access to these data, even though we are not sharing it individually, but we may be storing it in some of the spaces on the internet, either through Google Drive or maybe many such storage spaces. So we are heavily dependent on technology. Indirectly also, many of the government, business and educational institutes are using this technology and using public cloud environments, or no, some of the spaces like Google, they are giving lot of free spaces. We are using it and we are putting all our information on those public spaces. And many of our physical manual processes also, we are actually permanently we are deleting, and we are using technology to do our day-to-day operation. What does it mean? That means we are heavily using the internet, which is where the problem today we are facing problems, because internet is giving an opportunity for many strangers, hackers, criminals to enter into the into personal space or into an organizational space and start threatening the threatening the organizations. So our dependence on technology, as it increases, so we have to be very careful, watchful. What are the challenges we have, and how do we address those challenges? What are the tools available? What are the methodologies available as an individual, as an organization? So security is not actually today, it is not on priority. So we are not saying that, okay, it is security is a mandatory. So you cannot say that I will take security after I establish all my system. So when you are buying a mobile, immediately what you do, you will buy the mobile and you will also start having the authentication. You will create your own security password. Email, when you create a password. So today there is no way you can say that I will have an email and I will keep it open for anyone to log in. So our PCs are all password protected. Our mobiles are all password protected. So it is just not a priority. It is going to be a mandatory thing for anyone, everyone to think security as a important concern. So, and also, of course, there are different factors. It will affect your security when it comes to how to ensure security. So the cost, how much cost you have to spend to buy the security into your system. You have to buy softwares, antivirus software, or some systems who are providing the security. So it is a cost. And also the speed, at what speed you will be able to use these security related platforms platforms or softwares. And of course, convenience and other type of technology architectures and the compatibility. There are various factors which are also depending on how you can buy this security. If you want to really establish security for all these systems, which are going to help you to avoid the risk which otherwise would have been happened. So what are the roadblocks? Roadblocks is, if you ask any of your friends or you yourself, no, there are no way I can measure security. So it is a sort of myth. So why should no, I spend lot of money? Because I don't, even if I have lot of security measures, I still have no way I can minimize the challenges. So there are no particular measurement. It's not like half a liter, half a kg, 1 kg. It is something not visible to measure how much security you can provide, how much security is not there. So it is very difficult. So that is one challenge. And internet is available across the world. So even though you do not want, most of our operations are done on internet today. So it is available inherently. So again, because of that, the unsecured things or the other challenges are automatically happening to most of us. So there is no option. If I want to work on Facebook, if I want to work on use LinkedIn, or if I want to use the Twitter, I have to go to internet. Fine. So without internet, I cannot manage these facilities. So that is also one of the challenge. Without internet, can I do all these? It is not possible to talk to your friend who is there in US without going to internet. So that internet is itself sometimes looks like a roadblock for our cyber security. And most of the sectors, private sectors, they own most of the infrastructures. So again, what happens is that even when you want to have a very good tools, technologies and systems, many times the private sectors, they take care, they invest and they take the ownership of that. So it is not available to as a freely available service. So you have to pay money. You have to buy those security features from those sponsors or the business owners who are providing this facility or these services. So it is actually the complete security infrastructure is not given you as free of cost. And of course, there are a lot of other gaps which are there in the security, which probably we may not be able to immediately understand. So as we were talking about, we know that many of us have been experiencing these problems. As I just gave you 2 case studies. If we go into little more detail, you will definitely understand. So you get an email from a strange user, or you will get some kind of Word document where you have to enable, there are some macros which you have to use, or updating a password somebody asks you to do, or responding to some social media connection. Somebody will send you that this is a new friend in Facebook, why don't you connect to him? So there is some request coming from them, or you are having a free Wi-Fi hotspot. If you go to now most of the aerodromes or most of the flight places, when you go, you have these freely available Wi-Fi, or any internet malls or any shopping malls. So you may get tempted to use these free services. That is where the hackers and the other people, they are ready to come onto your space. So like that, there are various places where you are, you will be tempted to provide the information, and you must have already given. And you already, some of those criminals or the hackers must be maybe watching and maybe monitoring your devices, maybe taking away those sensitive data from your spaces without even you being aware of that. So if you want to know all that, probably I will share this PPT. So you can always go and look into more details of how those such type of emails, they come to you and they ask for more information from you, and how we get without knowing, how we get trapped into such type of incidences. So this is one of such, email, fake email comes to you. If you see it has a very good logo, National Security Department, so immediately you think government is sending this message to you, and it will give you some kind of a link. And when you click into this link, it is automatically now going into hacker space. So without even knowing, they are now started collecting data from your side. This is one of the kind of emails. You have to be very careful when when you get such emails and they are asking you to use the link to provide some kind of verification, or maybe providing some data. And again, this is another message. You may think that, okay, it is coming from Microsoft because we are using Windows or we are using other operating system. So we may say that, okay, this is a genuine email coming from a Microsoft, so I should provide the data. And you may go and verify your complete account details, and without knowing that this is not a email coming from Microsoft, but someone who is monitoring and who is a hacker who is asking you to provide all these details. So this is again a kind of fake email. You have to be careful. And if you see here, the logos are same, more or less same. So you have to be very careful. If unnecessarily they are asking any data without you being you wanted those information, you should never go and then use these emails and provide the details. Again, there is one more email which is coming, looks like it is almost coming from Microsoft. Again, this is Microsoft. Again, you may go and then use these links. So you have to be very careful when you are working with such type of emails or such type of systems where unknown emails coming from strangers, or even though he is not a stranger, you have to be very careful why you are receiving that mail. What is the purpose of this email? Why they are asking when you have not asked those questions? So this is again another email. Somebody is asking that you have got either you have got a reward, so please give me detail, we will transfer some amount. Or they may say that your account has some permission problem, we are going to give you some properly, we are going to set it up your account, please provide your email details and password. Or they may ask you to just go and open a file. Here they are not providing you a link, but they are providing you some email, some file, or some website link. So the minute when you are going, so immediately they will start installing some softwares on your machine, or they start taking some information from you, or they may even take the control of whole your system and they terminate your operating system, or they may terminate some of the services on your laptop. So you have to be very careful again in these in such scenarios. Now if you look at these are it's not just happening in India. If you look at it now, if you see this data which is coming from one of the report, these scammers who are doing these kind of phishing emails, we call that as a phishing email. So they are all located in different places. See, if you see, most of these scammers are located in different parts of the globe, and United States is contributing to more than 50%. United Kingdom, and you have against China and this part of the Asia. So these people are located, but however they send the communication. We are sitting here, so we may receive these emails coming from China, or it may be coming from US, or it may be coming from some part of South Africa, or maybe Africa, or maybe UK. So we don't even know how these messages are coming, who is sending these messages, and why they are sending these messages. But genuinely we think that we have a problem and they are trying to solve the problem. So you have to be very cautious about such kind of scenarios. So with all this background, now you think that why we are addressing security, why this security is very important for us. So let us go and then try to address. Now, these are again some of the words you must have already heard about it. You have seen. So we will not go into details of this. There are so many such type of challenges you have when you are working with the technology or the system. So these are some of the terminologies this you have already heard about. These are the different ways and means somebody can come to your system, somebody can attack the organization, somebody can even attack at the personal level. So different names has different ways of attacking on this using the technology. They are doing this challenges to us. So malware is one type of such software, which is actually the name itself suggests. It can stay in your system. It can come through various emails like what we have discussed, and it can install some internally some more applications, and they can start destroying your system, or they can also take away a lot of information. Again, emails which can come, the just few emails we have gone through, they are all called phishing emails, fake emails. They are not genuine emails. So they can come and it's like a the thief entering into your house. Physically, there is no thief, but these thieves are coming through various ways, and they are attacking your system. So password attack, many times again, they use various means to know your password, and once they know your password, then they can definitely come onto the system. And this is happening at the organization level. How many times we have seen in newspaper, Google has been attacked, or Microsoft, some of the data centers have been hacked. What does it mean? Twitter accounts have been hacked. What does it mean? They are coming to know these passwords, and they are trying to take over your system. Again, here we have distributed denial of service. So you even though you have a laptop, some of the services working yesterday, today it may not work. Why it happened? If you go into more deep drive into that, you may come to know that somebody has already hacked your system, and they have destroyed, or they have deactivated some of the services on your system. And again, this can happen at the institute level. Suddenly we see that ATMs are not working. So SBI ATM is not working. Possibly, if you look at it, some of the facilities functions are now suddenly got deactivated. You go and withdraw money, you provide all the commands, but suddenly you see that your money is not coming. So it can happen again here. Someone who has written a program, that program is not allowing you to withdraw the money on the ATM. So this kind of such kind of problems, we call it as very simple terms I am telling you. This is called denial of service, and that's denial of service can happen on the internet. So it is distributed denial of service. So man in the middle, when you are sending from one location to another location, somebody can come onto the network, because internet is like a network. So anybody who is traveling on the network can always come and peep on your house, no? So the same way here, they can come on the network, and they can log on to your system using some way. Drive-by downloads. Again, many fake emails, when they come, they give you link, they give you some of the download facilities, and when you start downloading, then they will take the control of it. Or fake advertisements. You may think that they are very good advertisements, or some rewarding advertisement. You go and then open those advertisements, and then they will start taking over your system. They will hack the system. And some of the rogue softwares, they try to even demand money. Many of the times when the hackers they come, they just don't stop by accessing your system. Based on the kind of personality, the human being they are attacking, they even start demanding money from those individuals, those organizations. We have seen many such examples. So these are few important or major type of cyber security. If you do not have a cyber security, these kind of challenges are the problems we are facing because of technology adopting in that. So what is cyber security? It is nothing but now protecting all our programs, our computer systems and networks, because we are now depending heavily on the internet. So all the networks and the all kind of programs we are developing, we are using on our laptops, our systems, it can be mobile, it can be iPad, or it can be any IoT devices. Today we are again using artificial intelligence, robots, and we are depending on IoT devices, smart applications. So those additional type of devices we are using, sensors, actuators, all these highly advanced IoT enabled devices and computer systems, all these components, they are no when these kind of devices, we are trying to protect from the unauthorized digital access. When we say unauthorized, those who do not have the privilege to use these devices, so those people should not be given access. So the cyber security, it refers to implementation of those practices to protect such type of networks, programs, computer system, components from the unauthorized digital access. So where there are various examples, you have digital footprints, you have web servers, printers, computers, switches, Wi-Fi access points. As I said, airport, when you go, you have freely available Wi-Fi points. Then if you access, you are getting into a unknowingly a trap by somebody who is watching people to just get into the access. So those Wi-Fi access points, gateways, applications, or even it could be cloud-based applications. We are again today heavily depending on cloud-based applications, Google Drive, Gmail, all these are all cloud-based applications. So again, those important systems and devices we should protect, and that practice is called cyber security. So we have two type of security: information security, cyber security. What is information? As we say, it is more related to digital or non-digital processes and tools used to protect this information. So all the digital data we want to secure, we want to the data on our computer system, data on whatever data we are storing, our databases, our documents, our property rights, any confidential data we are storing, we want to secure. So that is what comes into information security. Cyber security, because they are also connected by various networks, various communication protocols, various systems. So we talk about the techniques to protect the integrity of networks. We are using the internet, and this internet is connected between various systems on the network. So how do we protect these networks? That we call it as cyber security. So there are two aspects: information security and cyber security. So security, so also it looks into your physical security. When I say physically, means you have data centers. Lot of computers and systems are built into those data centers. If you are a student, you may not still have an visibility of data center, but if you are a working professional, you already have, your own organization has a data center. You can always go and check it. So there are so many systems, servers and switches and pointers and gateways. Many things are actually connected there. So those also have to be taken care, because finally what we are doing is we are trying to protect against unauthorized access, either physically into the data centers or to the computer systems from anywhere on the internet. So information security is in cyber security or physical security or information security, it helps you to do three important factors: confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data. So as long as these three principal components of security are established, you do not have a challenge of security, cyber security, or security challenges are not there. So what are those factors? Confidentiality, integrity, availability. That means your data has to be, whatever confidential data has to be confidential to you, and it has to remain confidential wherever you keep, wherever you store, wherever you send on the network. And there should not be any change to the data. You may send an email, but nobody should edit that email when it goes to the destination. Fine. So that is what we call it as an integrity. The data has to maintain the integrity, and it is availability. It should be available to you. You are the owner of that information. You are owner of that device. You are owner of that system, laptop. Now nobody can deny the service of laptop to you because it is your laptop. Fine. So these three components should be established. Then only we say that you have a security system established on those components. So what are we protecting against? In summary, it is unauthorized access, unauthorized deletion, unauthorized modification. So this is what we call it as confidentiality, integrity, availability. So anytime anybody asks questions on what are you going to achieve through any of this security, it can be information security or cyber security. Cyber means most of systems on the network, or it can be physical security. We have to say that we are trying to establish confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the either system, data, or information. So this is a little more detail of what is confidentiality, what is integrity. Please refer to it later because it's already there in with you. Now this is called triad: confidentiality, integrity, availability. These are three arms of your security structure. So you all must be knowing the now threats. You keep hearing crime thought of cyber area of focus. Now we only know that somebody comes to a home and a thief, and he physically comes, he robs off some money, and police will come and they will catch him, they will put him into prison. Now this is physically a thief doing a work, and we all know visibly he is there, and either we put him into jail or we give him some punishment as a government, as per the government policy. Now, if you do not know someone where he is, but your system he is doing some theft. What is theft? He is stealing away your information. He is doing some changes in your program, or he is confidentially he is taking some information from you. Whatever. So they are called actually cyber crimes. Such type of activities are called cyber crimes. You do not see those coming into physically to your house, but they are doing these challenges. So why do they do it? They do it because they are getting profit. Why today we are seeing lot of cyber crimes? Because they are either sponsored by some of the big agencies, or they are using it because they are trying to sell off this information to somebody else. Please think of if a person goes to a mall. Now most of the malls are collecting our mobile numbers. Now he can always buy this mobile numbers data from shopping, maybe from Big Bazaar or maybe from More, and he will try to sell those data to somebody else. Why does he sell it? Because he will get money. He can make some profit by selling those data. So this is how today digitally available information is now stolen and used for gain or profit gain. So these are actually cyber crimes. Now this is actually becoming a threat now. So the threat to what? Threat to these three. Our confidentiality. So your data is no more a confidential, and you do not know whether your data is safe. You do not know whether you can access your own data. So today there are threats happening to these CIA: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So they can actually do attacks on the CIA. So these are again three different places where you can see how they can do. They can again crack your encrypted data when you are passing on the data on the network. They can also log into the network through various means. They become a middleman attack. It's called middleman man in the middle attack. Or some of the data leakages can happen, unauthorized copying sensitive data, installing spyware, malware on server. So these are different ways and means today they are trying to do a harm to your confidentiality. And integrity, they can use web penetration for malware insertion. In the sense, they can do lot of software installation on your maliciously on your system. They can get into your servers in the organization. Again, they can install many malicious softwares, which we know, we know only an antivirus software, but beyond antivirus now there are many softwares which are coming as a legitimate softwares, but they are also trying to do many harmful to the system. And they can also remotely access your system on the network, and again your data is always on the challenging scenarios, because anybody can steal away your data. And availability, in the sense, once you are not able to access your own data, then somebody will be using your data for their own profit. So how does that happen? Denial of service or distributed denial of service, ransomware attacks. Many big industry elites are threatened with these kind of attacks on the digital attacks. These are all digital. They don't come in front of you. They don't come to you. They may send an WhatsApp message. They may call. They may send some email from faraway places. But there is a big attack, and they ask for big money. And deliberately, they may even disrupt your systems, and or they can send lot of unwanted messages onto your systems server, and that way they make your service is not, your system is not available. Suddenly you see that your system is crashed. Suddenly you see that the servers are not working. So these are different ways they can attack the three components of your security: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So this is the current trend. If we think that it is only happening for laptops and servers, no, please be watchful. Even mobile industry, mobile sectors, the attacks are happening, and it is increasing. The trend shows that it is increasing. So this is actually a source I got from Kaspersky. So you can always go to this and you will get more details. So the vulnerabilities, that means weakness. We have so many weakness in our systems, our devices. That is why they are able to attack. So if we are able to remove and avoid those weaknesses, definitely we can ensure higher security. So there are so many weaknesses which are there in our systems. So this is what it says, that a number of such weaknesses which are actually allowing the attackers and hackers to, or thieves to, come onto our system, digital information. So there are various such one. Please look into that. Denial of service, or author bypassing some of the encryptions, file manipulation. So these are different forms of the vulnerabilities. And if you see, this is again a very important slide. All of you should go and check it. You please look into this website. Now, how many ways a hacker can come into your PC? Now, if you look at this, these are all bot activity. He can always do a lot of bot related activities and capture your PC account credentials or financial credentials, and attacks, fake antivirus, ransomwares. These are different ways of attacking. Again, reputation hijacking. If you know Facebook, Twitter, they can always distort your image. Especially this is very important for celebrities and people who have some higher positions, senior position in the industry. So their reputations may be at stake if somebody hijacks their accounts. And virtually they can also use various ways of gaming facilities, and they can come and attack you. And email attacks, though we know very clearly, more than 60% today phishing emails are attacking the systems, and the servers they can attack. So there are different ways an attacker can come and attack your system. It is not at the individual level. This is happening at the society. This is happening at the organization level. So why they are doing? Because they are getting profit by stealing away information and selling it to different parties, or trying to abuse an individual or a personal because of social engineering attacks. So they want to create some bad image, bad reputation to the organization or to the individual level. So either with those motivations they come and do it, or they have profit as a purpose to come and attack. Now we have to look at where all we have the weaknesses and how do we minimize these weaknesses. Okay. So how do we do that? So the cyber security implementation is, first we should know identify where those weaknesses are. In either it is at our individual devices, like mobile, we may not have a password authentication. That is very important. So we have to identify the components, our digital assets, which are very important, and try to see how we can minimize the attacks on those devices, those systems. Then analyze and evaluate. So when we are identifying those devices, we may not be able to implement security for all the devices. So we have to see which is very important, where we cannot compromise the security, and where we cannot, where we have to spend money and make sure that security is established. So evaluate and analyze, and then you find out what are the threats, who are the people who are going to attack, what type of attacks they may be doing, so they may do it, and how do we minimize those threats. So when you do this step by step understanding of your security security implementation strategy, then you will be definitely be able to do the security implementation. Now, this is what is the major important takeaway from this session. So we are now putting everything, and we are trying to look at as a landscape. What is this landscape? Let us see from the beginning. We will spend 5 minutes and understand. If you are able to understand this slide, I think the whole session you would have already understood. So I try to bring everything into this slide. So there are so many, so many things you are seeing. Let us go from the very inner, this eclipse. So it says that we are having assets. Now, what is this asset? Asset is nothing but your own digital asset. It is not a house as an asset I am talking. Here I am talking about digital asset. What are those digital assets? Now you have a computer. You keep the various type of contents on that, files. You keep your personal banking account, or you keep your house related financial data. You will keep very important emails. You will do so many activities on that which are very confidential, and also lot of information which are related to other factors. Now these are digital assets. Now this may be very private to you. You may not want to share any of this information with outsiders, maybe with your own people, near and dear ones, but you may not want to do. So these are all completely a private digital information, private digital asset. There are certain data, there are certain information which you don't mind sending it to outsiders, but you want to keep your identity. So we call it as an identity wise, we want to be anonymous, but otherwise we can send our information, like email. Email, you want to send some of the information to outsider. So there you are not, there you are open to send your email ID, you are open to share your email ID, and also open to share some of the content. So that can become completely, anonymity is not a concern there. But some of the emails and some of the places you do not want to reveal your identity, but you want to share some of the data. Fine. So here also now in this session, I'm ready to share all the content, but I may not want to share, I'm coming from so-and-so background, so-and-so place. Some of the data I may not share. So I may maintain identity as an anonymity in some respect. Some information, if I'm ready to share, it is called pseudo-anonymity. So considering different aspects, some of the assets are private, some of the assets are having some anonymity, and some of the assets are having pseudo-anonymity. Now, identify such assets. Which are those digital assets you want to identify as different baskets? Then you classify them. Now, these assets you have to protect, and you have to prioritize. You have to plan security for that. Now, how do you plan the security? You go to the next layer. Now, this is a security layer. or you can call it a security framework. Now, based on the type of the assets you are following, you build those security framework or security feature. Now, sometimes if you are heavily depending on communications and you may build HTTPS. We do not today use simply an HTTP protocol, because it is definitely allowing the strange people to come onto our system. So we may use HTTPS, or we may use patching, or we may use encryption, or we may use VPN. So there are different tools, methods, mechanisms available today, and these are all commercially available. These are available as an organization feature, or as once you become a part of that organization as an employee or as a student, you become a part of that institute. Some of these features are built in into the their system and their own network. So these security features are prioritized, and they are based on what type of data you are creating. As an institute, IIIT Dharwad has some of the assets like intellectual property rights, or they have students' information, or they have data related to the course work. These are all some of the confidential work. We may not want to share it to outside world. So we may have STTPS, we may have SSH. I will not go into detail of that, but these are different aspects you can always study later. So this is what we do as a security layer or security structure or a framework. Now this sometimes it requires money, sometimes may not. Most of us we know is this firewall. Many of the systems in the organizations or in the institute has this firewall automatically built in. So you do not have to worry when a stranger wants to come into your organization through internet. He asks for passwords. He is also asking, they will check the password is correct or not. He is a valid user or not. So some minimal authentication happens when you have a firewall, HTTPS or SSH. Okay. Now, once you have this security layer, yes, you have some way of establishing the security in your system. But however, still there are people who are know these threats. Threats are nothing but different ways of attacking your system. What are those ways? They have a spying. They continuously monitor and they log in. Adwares through advertisements. Again, there are some applications which are called spywares. They can come and they come to your system through internet, email, downloads, and they can use. Viruses can come, or some malicious softwares like malwares, or you have some exploit kits. So this I will show you one example if time permits, how hackers also use exploit kits to log in into your system and then take over your system, or some of the backdoor entries, or we have phishing through SMS. They can come, fake emails, they can come phishing or SMS or emails. Like that, there are different approaches and methods they follow, and using that they can enter. So these are nothing but threat. So what is your threat landscape? Threat landscape is to make sure that these are properly taken care. Okay, you identify, you understand these systems, how to avoid based on the important digital assets you want to protect, and you also use these various security components. Now, who are doing these things? Now, if you see spyware, adware, virus, now somebody who is sitting outside your organization, or it is also possible that today we are having insiders, in the sense an organization has people who can also inside their own employees can do this. So you have both insiders and outsiders who can always do this, and they can attack your system. Now these are the people. Okay, so it need not to be only one type of person. So the adversaries means these are the people who are attacking your system, who are attacking your servers, who are attacking your networks. So who are those? We know by just hackers. Anyone who is coming into your system, hackers. There are groups who are employed to do these activities. They are sponsored by organizations. So they are called hacker groups. or they can be a colleague. Now, someone who doesn't part of the organization gelling with properly, or someone who is just leaving the organization after resignation, he has just 1 month to go and he is going to join other company. Now again, he can also steal away some information. So there are cyber criminals who can do, or some government websites, when you go and use these government websites, they use those government websites information to log in into your system. So there are various means to come into your system and create a threat. These are different ways of threat. So these are adversaries. So unless we have the clear understanding of adversaries, threats, then we may not be able to establish threat. So this landscape gives you a way to strategize your security framework, your security architecture, because it is a costly thing. It is not just a priority, it is a mandatory. Fine, security has to be there for at the individual level. It has to be happen at the organization level. So we have to do a detailed risk management, risk assessment to understand what are the assets which are very important, what are the threats we are going to get it, and what kind of security controls we can build, and make sure that they are not attacked by any of these people. It's very difficult to have 100% avoidance, but definitely it is possible to do it. So there are these principles. You have to always look at vulnerability, threat, and risk. These are the three important components on which you will develop the architecture or the framework for security implementation. So in age-old days, no, security means we used to say it is antivirus, means only the virus from outside can attack. But today this norm has gone. Today we have many untrusted people who are there within the organization, within the institute. They can create actually havoc. They can create these kind of hacking environments to you. So we have to be very aware of that. So if you see here, this is how the information went from 1990s to 2020. So early age in 1990s, it was only virus or some configuration changes and all. When we came into 2020, there are different type of client server attacks. It started happening. But when it came into 2010, fake emails or ransomware or advanced persistent threats started happening from groups. So today we are facing a very different scenario. We are in the cyberspace, and we don't even know how attackers are coming, how hackers are coming, whether they are coming from inside, they are coming from outside, in what way. So your risk is actually exposed heavily. Your systems are getting into a risk very heavily because of the technology dependence, because of the internet dependence. So we have to be more resilient in terms of our systems, in terms of our devices to these kind of cyber attacks. So we were only protecting earlier, then we started detecting, then we were started responding to those things. But today we have making our systems, making our devices resilient, resistant to these attacks. This is how the technology is also driving the security, and security is becoming very prominent in most of our digital system. So this I spoke about. So you have computer security, you have cyber security, you have information security. So security means not just one type. It is not just a non-digital. It is also digital security you are taking care of. You are also taking care of devices security, system devices which are connected and also not connected on that. So security takes care of physical computers, cyber with network security. It also takes care of digital security, that is information. So there are these are some of the common type of challenges you have when it comes to information or IT. IT is cyber security. So you have firewalls, antivirus, vulnerability, various controls you can establish. for making sure your cyber security is established. So what are those controls? You can have firewalls, you can have antivirus on the devices, you can have vulnerability scan and penetration testing, intrusion detection. These we may not be able to go into each one of that in detail because of the time, but definitely during these 4 sessions you are going to come across these words again and again. You will have more idea. So we have various type of security controls here, and we have information when it comes to only digital information. You have these kind of security controls, intellectual property, regulatory compliance. Lot of standards are there at the government level, international level. They will help you to do. And you have data privacy, you have governance, you have crisis management. So there are different type and ways of managing the information security controls within the organization. These are all business oriented and some of them are all technology oriented. So there are prediction happening. So Forrester has said in 2019, so it is not individual enterprises, life, society, everybody is now today depending on technology. So security is very important. And there are more and more children and students are coming on devices. So even they have to be made aware of this cyber security. So why? Because of technology and internet, we are revealing more than 60% of data are collected. It is not for competitive advantage alone. It is also used for various profits. So we have to be very careful at individual, society level, and also enterprise level. If we do not take care of that, then the implications are they can have a smaller attack in terms of just collecting the data. They can have for 1 month, 1.5 months, or they can even go for 1 year, 2 years. They can monitor and continuously start asking you money from an organization. So attacking is not difficult today. That is what finally we have to understand, and we have to take care of this. So what are the motivatives? Disrupting business continuity, or making the theft of data, or creating fear, financial loss, or achieving demanding ransom money. There are various motivations behind that. So now let us go into some of the assessment, vulnerability assessment. We understood now the landscape of how the weaknesses are available to us in that figure, in that picture. So let us see just few vulnerability assessment tools. It is nothing but a weakness in our system. So if we do not take care of this weakness, then we are going to have a big challenge. But at the same time, we can definitely understand this weakness, identify weakness. This is easily manageable. So same way, the threat and risk, we just saw few of those threats and risks. It is nothing but a potential where the vulnerability, wherever there is a weakness, so you have obviously the threats. So somebody will look for those weaknesses to enter into your system. And these external threats are definitely not controllable, but internal threats are easily controllable. That is where we have to have a continuously risk monitoring and risk mitigation strategies. No vulnerability, no risk means you have a way. No risk results means there is no risk. So we have to minimize the risk. That is what we have to do. So this threat, understanding the threat, looking into the threat landscape, and then strategize the risk management strategies or management plan is very important for the organization and also for the societies. So how do we address? So we have to do a deep, in-depth understanding of the risk and vulnerabilities, understanding of the current threats and adversaries, and use effective policies and technologies. That is the simplest way I can say. We have to bring in the security controls and also the risk management. So how do we do? These are simple steps I will tell you. First, we have to assess ourselves. We should know where we are. What are our current strategies for security, either at the mobile level or at the system level or at the organization level. So cyber attacks can take care of the unnoticed security vulnerabilities, means weaknesses. So we have to always look for those scenarios, like whether we have weak passwords, whether we have poor management, patch management procedures, updating, are we doing it or not, lack of end user awareness, whether all our users, they are aware of policies and things. So these are some of the weaknesses in the system. So we should understand that. That is what we call it as an assessment. So this comes as a part of your vulnerability assessment, and that is the first step in protecting the data. So what do we get out of this assessment? We get thousands of various information on the vulnerabilities at the very deep level, granular vulnerabilities. We also get to know what are the risks. We also know what are the current threats and what are the threats which are going to come. So once you know this, you can definitely have a properly understand where to address that, whether you want to address at the infrastructure level, or you want to address at the application level, or you want to address at the network level. So you will have a strategy to manage those risks. So this is actually, there is an 8-step strategy for vulnerability assessment. First one is we have to find out the current state of security. Many of us may not even know what is security. So we have to understand that what are the current security practices we have, whether we are taking the service from vendor or not. Once you know that, then you identify the processes. What are the tools, technologies, methods, or the techniques available to one can use for complying to certain security policies, privacy, or whatever the policies. Then once you know, you also identify which are the critical application, which are the critical data, whether you have sensitive data like financial data, confidential data of intellectual property. So you identify the devices, laptops, systems, or the information documents, those assets, digital assets, you find out, identify. Once you know, you also determine the hardware, the systems. It is not just digital asset means only the documents or the files or the other type of databases. You will also find out the virtual, physical servers, storages. All these you want to protect. Identify which are those systems. Then you identify where these are connected, all the network related information. So you have to identify the digital data. You have to identify the hardware which are supporting those systems on the network. Which are those network? You may be having a cloud-based network for your communications. So use all those networks. Identify the routers, identify the switches which are all exposed on the network. Then currently, what are the practices you have? You may have practices, you may not have. So identify the intrusion protection system, detection system, or firewall encryption. So identify what security policies you have. If you don't have, you may have to start doing that. Then you run the vulnerability assessment and see what are still the risk available, and identify those risks, and then you start applying the some of these risks, map it to the vulnerability scanning output, and strategize your risk mitigation plan. So this is what we generally do in the vulnerability assessment. It is basically defense in depth. Once you know that, you will be able to find out the security controls to address these things. So I may, can I take another 5 minutes? I think we started little late. Is it okay, or we have to take it in the next session?
Please continue, ma'am. Use this. Please continue.
Okay, fine. Okay, I'll use maybe another 5-10 max. So there are different ways of doing the vulnerability assessment. Now, one way is that there is, when we say hacking, I just wanted to give a clarity here. Hacking is not always a bad thing. Now, many organizations are giving this hacking, is also using hacking also one strategy to find out the do the vulnerability assessment. How do? They call it as ethical hacking. So it is a process by which our weaknesses are discovered. Okay, so vulnerabilities means weakness. As I said, we may not have any protection in terms of password protection, or in terms of SSH security to our systems. We may not be using the HTTPS type of security control. So those are all weaknesses. So this ethical hacking is a process by which legally somebody will try to identify by hacking into your system. So today this is actually gaining more importance as a professional and also as a way of doing the vulnerability assessment of the current organization. So they use lot of tools and techniques to do this ethical hacking, and they perform complete inspection of your practice, existing system, existing network, and existing devices which are all connected, and they do a detailed study or the detailed view of the how the processes are running in the in this way without having the security or whatever the security practices. Then they try to find out what are the risks. If you do not have HTTP or you do not have SSH or if you do not have password, they will say that these are the risks. Now, because of this risk, now you know you will have a major problem. Now, how do we mitigate this risk? How? Again, they will start a risk mitigation plan, risk mitigation strategy, and try to proactively provide the security framework. So they will proactively plan the strategy to do the to the security establishment. So then they may also do using various policies. So one example could be you have to have a password. So there is a big document I will show you in the later sessions how an organization can implement the security using some of the international standards. I have a one complete session, so I will explain to you how to do that. So this is hacking is also one legal way of doing the vulnerability assessment. So this is what is the legal way. They will search and exploit using some tool, Nmap. Again, using this Nmap, they will do the scanning phase vulnerability test, and they will gain access using exploit, metasploit. So you are going to use this metasploit in the afternoon. So you will know that how vulnerability assessment you can do using this metasploit. It is also called as penetration testing. So you will learn, you will have some hands-on experience. So it is a way of understanding the existing system. So, and then they will also maintain some way to enter into your system through backdoor entry, it is called. And no, some of the actual work, they may try to delete it and see what is the implication of that. So they are simulating a scenario of hacker. That is why it is called ethical hacking. And then finally they assess, saying that, okay, these are the places now you have a problem. So these are the places you have not, your confidential data is getting leaked. These are the places your data will get deleted, or the system will get crashed. So they will try to do all the those weaknesses scanning and try to bring a proper report. So this vulnerability assessment is also one way to collect these information and then do the use this data for future risk management strategy. So that is a vulnerability assessment. No, vulnerability assessment is very important activity. All of us have to do, whether we are individual or we are at the organization. It is good to have these things. Now, once you know the vulnerability report, you can definitely plan for a better security implementation in the organization. But at the same time, we also have to understand threats very clearly. So this is why threat landscape is very important. So some of the important information we have to be very careful. We have to always watchful. Don't directly trust any client provided data. Any data which is coming from outside is always a threat. So you should have certain minimum awareness on these threats. Ransomware, when somebody is coming through phishing, brute force, remote access control. So this is how they will also come and attack you. Browser based attacks, boots which are not retail problem. So bots, sorry, not boots, bots. So how the threats will come onto your system. So I showed you in that that slide all the threat landscape, how one can identify the threats which can happen to your system. So you should have a detailed understanding. Then you can establish various controls. I think if I have to see this, say please go through this little leisurely. I will not be able to do it because of the time. So you can get many of the security controls you can establish. So you can secure configuration for hardware, inventory of authorized, unauthorized software, inventory of devices. Once you know all that, you can start establishing the identifying where you want to have a critical security control you want to establish. So there are different examples I have given in this slide. Maybe you can go through that. There are various softwares which are used: penetration test, Metasploit or OpenWAS, security administrator tools, Snort, Wireshark. If we have time, we can go into that. Otherwise, using all these, you will be able to do the threat landscape. And then you also, why do we do that? Mainly to understand what type of security control we want to establish. So it is basically selecting the security control. We use many of these tools and techniques to do the assessment. So once you do that, then you have some idea of the threats, you have some idea of your own weakness in the system, then you can start applying. But very important concept, I want to bring it here. This I will do it in the next session also. It is called zero trust architecture. I will do it in the next class. So we don't have time. So I will cover there. Why we want to do zero trust model, I will cover it there. So in the next class, we will talk about this zero trust model, which is very important. Based on that, we will go for the risk management strategy and security controls. Now, this is important thing which is happening in the recent trend. I just want to introduce this and then we will close the session. It is called Advanced Persistent Threat Group. Today, threats are happening, attacks are happening by a group. And it is not happening as one time. If you see, they have financially motivated intention. They want to steal your information. They can be persistent. They can stay continuously monitored for years. 1 year, big organizations are being monitored by these groups. They call it as APT, Advanced Persistent Threat. And many are, as I said, showed in the global picture, they are staying outside the our nation. And they retarget. They come after 2 months, they come after 3 months. Continuously they monitor and they are always active. So we have to be very careful about this APT groups, advanced persistent threat. It is not like once the thief has come, now we will not have any problem. They will be continuously monitoring because they are working for a huge profit from the businesses, huge profit by stealing away, by selling away your information, by distorting your reputation. So we have to be very careful. Please look into this website. You will have more data. And they are targeting not individuals. They are targeting healthcare, high-tech, media, pharmaceuticals, retail, software, telecoms, travel, education. Anything you ask, they are today active in these sectors. So we have to be very careful to reduce these challenges because of the these group, APT groups. So the predictions are very high. They are going from just a simple software to targeted ransomware. They are asking in billion, trillion dollars also from big organizations, and they are getting on to different type of new online banking payment attacks are happening, infrastructure attacks, big buildings like what happened in US in 2011. They may be even planning to do such kind of big attacks on the big organizations. They are attacking in regions, warfares are happening. And they are all very sophisticated way they follow. They use YouTube, Google Docs, Dropbox. So they come into the system very sophisticatedly, but they have a very big intention to do. So the predictions are there for 2021 and onwards. We have to be very careful with these advanced threat people. So what are the top vulnerabilities? I have this. Maybe I'll show you in the next session if time permits. You can always go to some of these websites. They are visibly they are giving you a data and information on the top vulnerabilities or the weaknesses which are there in our Microsoft or our Mac or Linux or Ubuntu, whichever system we are using, there are weaknesses. So we have to be very careful when we are using those softwares. So it can be software, it can be tool, or it can be system. So there are websites which are publicly publishing this data, and we should be aware of these top vulnerabilities. Once we know vulnerability, it is very easy for us to go to the next level of establishing the security control. So again, there are some more websites. They are highly exploited vulnerabilities. It is there. So which is published by this Federal Bureau of Investigation. You can always look into that. So this is another one. As I said, exploit kits, and exploit kits are also used by the hackers who provide this, try to use this data to enter into your system. I'll show you this exploit kits also either today or tomorrow, and you will get more visibility on that. So with that, we can close this session. So what we have understood, just to summarize, why cybersecurity is very important, and how technology we are dependent today, and why we are having more and more such concern of security because of our dependency on the technology, and hence security is cyber security or information security is going to be not just one day issue. It is going to be our future continuous challenge. We have to address it. So how do we do it? There are ways and means of doing it. So we do the vulnerability assessment to identify the weakness in our system, and then we go into address the vulnerable weaknesses to establish various security controls. Once we understand the security controls, we will be in a position to mitigate the risk because of these weaknesses. Okay, this is what we have summarized today in our first session. Any questions, please pass it on to the coordinator. I'll try my best to answer all that during the next session, or maybe in the afternoon session. Sorry, or in the next. Okay, thank you. I got little delayed. I don't know, because initially we lost some time. I had to complete it. Is it okay now? Anything from your side?
It was a wonderful session, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm
We
sorry.
got very good positive response in the chat window.
Oh, is it?
Yes. It's very informative, and they are really happy.
Okay. So when do we start the next session? I'm extremely sorry I took